Now, national parks remain partially open during the federal government shutdown, but nearly 2/3 of National Park Service employees are now furloughed. Most of those remaining are providing essential services like law enforcement, emergency response, and fire suppression. ABC 10's Becca Hotbecker joins us now in studio. And Becca, what park actually remains open kind of varies, right?
Yeah, across the more than 400 parks, historic sites, and recreation areas managed by the National Park Service, roads, lookouts, trails, and open-air memorials will generally remain accessible to visitors. But visitor centers and other places typically locked outside of business hours will be closed throughout the entire shutdown.
Call Yosemite National Park and opt to speak with a ranger, and this is the recorded message you'll hear.
Thank you for calling Yosemite National Park. National parks remain as accessible as possible during the federal government shutdown. However, some services may be limited or unavailable. Due to the lapse in appropriations, we are out of office and not authorized to work at this time.
I reached out to the National Park Service to ask what specifically in Yosemite is open and closed. A spokesperson replied with a general statement saying, in part, critical functions that protect life, property, and public health will remain in place, including visitor access in many locations, law enforcement, and emergency response. At other National Park Service sites, this photo from the Associated Press shows Muir Woods National Monument closed, saying trash will not be collected and restrooms are not available. Long lines for this parking lot restroom at Rocky Mountain National Park, with the visitor center and its restrooms closed. The Shark Valley section of Florida's Everglades National Park now closed to vehicles. During the last shutdown in his first term, President Donald Trump ordered parks to remain open with limited staff to clean restrooms and remove trash. But with most employees furloughed, garbage piled up and facilities quickly deteriorated. Last week, 42 retired park superintendents signed a letter to Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum, urging him to fully close national parks in the event of a shutdown to protect them from damage.
It's likely to have some very negative consequences to our national parks.
Former Joshua Tree National Park Superintendent Mark Butler signed the letter.
Not only negative impacts to the resource, but also visitors. There's a lot of public safety issues and concerns that go with leaving parks unattended. Parks don't run themselves. To remain safe and clean and accessible, they need hardworking staff.
There's wider concerns about being able to respond to emergencies and seeing, deaths that could be avoided, or issues like wildfires in our parks. While there's not adequate staffing available.
Mark Rose with the National Parks Conservation Association says National Park Service staffing was already depleted heading into this shutdown.
The National Park Service as a whole had lost over a quarter of its staff since January. And now of the remaining staff, 2/3 are furloughed. So it's definitely a situation where parks like Yosemite were already struggling.
I called the Ahwahnee Hotel in Yosemite National Park. They said they're still very much open and unaffected by the shutdown. And the hotel's website says all Yosemite hospitality operations within the park will remain open. Those include the Ahwahnee Yosemite Valley Lodge, Curry Village, and housekeeping camp. Alex.
All right, Becca, thank you for that.